What's up, guys? So today we're going to go over the spirit boons for the druid that we have not actually got to test in the beta, but we do know what they are. Basically, the way the spirit boon system works is once you get to level 15, if you played the betas, you'll notice there's like spirit offerings that start dropping on the ground that you'll want to pick up and collect. And then later on in Ska's Glen, you'll be able to do a quest line to unlock the druid kind of class system where you'll turn in the spirit offerings to an NPC, and then you'll be able to unlock the spirit boons. So basically, the way the spirit boon system works is you'll see there's 4 categories here: deer, eagle, wolf, and snake. And we have buffs in these categories. So they're just kind of passive buffs, and you'll be able to choose one in each category. So you could do something like this. Once you have collected enough spirit offerings, you can turn them in to unlock one of these. And then when you keep turning them in, you'll be able to unlock all of them. And then once you have them all unlocked, you'll be able to select one. So for example, deer, you can pick this one, and then you can put 2 points into that category. This is the most you can get. It's 5 total. You'll be able to choose 1 in each, and then 2 in one of them. So I figured we'd go over the buffs, kind of talk about they're good or bad, and go from there. I think, I'm not sure what order you can unlock them in, because again, we didn't get to test this, but it seems like the early ones up here are a little more simple, and then they get a little more in depth as you go down. So I'm not sure if you can get any one you want. If you have to go left or right, you can jump around, whatever. We'll know on launch. But I'll make a video for that, going over, which order you should grab each one. So, first up, prickle skin, gain X amount of thorns. Ooh, a little underwhelming at first. There are some thorns builds going around. Druid, not really a thorns character. You can just slap on a bunch of thorns, but we don't have any thing to really assist with thorns. It would be very, very secondary, tertiary kind of thing we do. So not something you'd probably take. Gain 10 maximum spirit. Maximum spirit, it'd be cool if this was 1 spirit regen per second. Would be much, much more interesting. There's a little bit of things you can do with maximum spirit, but generally speaking, maximum resource, not going to do too much. Like I said, there are some things, but probably not going to take this one. Take 10% reduced damage from elites. Now, this is getting pretty good. Might not seem that great on paper, but 10% damage reduction is pretty solid. I think this is, out of the ones we've seen so far, by far the best. Really, really good. You're gonna probably grab this one. We'll check the last one. Last one, reduce the duration of control impairing effects. It's okay. You have a fair bit of ways to be unstoppable as Druid, so I don't think this is really gonna stand out too much. Again, 10% damage reduction for elites is just, I think, probably gonna be far and away the best one you're gonna take in the deer category. So moving on down to eagle, 5% crit chance. Okay, you can see we're kind of getting a little bit better here. 5% crit, that's not bad. Nothing crazy, nothing, too insane, but it's a nice little damage boost. Okay, pretty straightforward on that. 10% maximum life. Okay, this is I think this is not bad. It's nice you get an offensive choice and then a defensive choice. I don't know if they were going for try to get a little bit of everything in each build. Maybe they're trying to get, a werewolf one, a werebear one, storm and an earth kind of things that kind of go. This is okay, for a little, if you need some defensive, not bad. 10% attack speed. Okay. Seems this tree's kind of more offensive oriented. I think attack speed feels pretty good. It kind of, it sort of increases your spirit regeneration because you can attack your basic attacks faster. 10%, not bad. I think that's kind of what you can get on gloves or something. So it's kind of these kind of feel like +1 affects on a piece of gear. 5% crit, 10% attack speed, 30% crit damage. That's that's quite a bit of crit damage actually. Depending on how much crit chance you have, you could totally take, depending on what the rest looks like, you could totally put your point in eagle and take 5% crit chance and 30% crit damage. That seems pretty good actually so far. Again, they're a little, not too interesting. They're just, bonus stats, but you know, that's not too bad. That's okay. All right. Let's see what we have next. We have Wolf, Pack Leader. Lucky hit crits have up to a 20% chance to reset the cooldowns of your companion skills. So the thing about this is, first, it's a lucky hit, which, you know, it's kind of hard to proc, but it's only a lucky hit if you crit. So you have a percent chance to crit, and then you have a lucky hit percent chance on top of that, which makes it kind of hard to proc. There are some ways to kind of get around this. For example, the skill Landslide has a way to guarantee that it will crit with the Terramotes. And an easy way to get Terramotes is with Poison Creeper. So if you use Poison Creeper, you get a bunch of Terramotes, and then you use Landslide on a monster, you know, you have a pretty decent chance to reset the cooldown of Poison Creeper. So that's some pretty cool synergy. I would probably take this for like leveling. I liked the Landslide Poison Creeper leveling build. I wonder if companions can reset this. I feel like I like tested, you know, if companions can lucky hit. I'm pretty sure they can with even just their passive damage. So imagine you have this and you have, you know, 3 wolves, 4 ravens. I don't think Poison Creeper can crit since it's poison damage, but they're constantly attacking, and then you're using the active skills, and then it's like maybe the active skills can proc lucky hit too, and then it can just like cycle and reset itself. Ravens do a lot of like small little ticks on the active, so that's kind of that might have some cool synergy with companion stuff. Like if you just constantly reset the active abilities, that could be really cool. Pretty interesting, actually. I wish we could have got to try that one out. I would like to see how that works, but that sounds pretty cool. Energize. Dealing damage has up to a 15% chance to restore spirit. Another lucky hit. I know a lot of people had issues with spirit generation in beta. There are a lot of things later on that we've seen that will help out with spirit. So if you were really frustrated with how much spirit you were gaining or losing in beta, do not worry. It will get better. It might be much later, but there are a lot more ways to gain spirit later. This is okay. Again, it's a lucky hit. A lot of abilities got nerfed on their lucky hit. If nothing else in the category worked for you, you could totally just take this. I could see that. But yeah, this one seems okay. Fortify for 10% of your maximum life when using a defensive skill. I think you're probably going to take Fortify on every Druid build, if I was to guess. Fortify is just an extremely good mechanic on top of it's fairly easy to keep up on as a Druid. Even if you're like as a werewolf, you could take this with Blood Howl, and when every time, you know, you kill a monster, Blood Howl's cooldown is reduced. You could be clicking this and fortifying. Werewolf is probably the hardest to get Fortify on, like just a pure werewolf build. But this one's okay. I think this one's all right. If you're going for a full tanky, you know, werebear, you want all the tank stuff, you know, you would definitely probably slap this on. Although werebear, you know, super easy to get Fortify and werebear, so this is might be kind of overkill, but yeah, I think this one's okay. Calamity. Extend the duration of your ultimate skills by 25%. Well, let me think. On average, the ultimate skills last they have decent durations. Cataclysm is 8-10 seconds with the passive. Petrify is like 6 seconds. I think 7 seconds with the passive. Grizzly Rage is like 10 seconds, and then you can add 10 more seconds if you get kills. And which I don't know how that would work. It'd probably be just the base duration. So like for example, on Grizzly Rage, whenever you kill a monster, you extend the duration by 1 second up to 10 seconds. Would this extend it by 1.25 seconds? Probably not. I assume this works on Lacerate as well. This one seems okay. I will say there are ways to not like go infinite, but you can, with this combined with other things, you can get your ultimate skills up and keep them up for quite a long time. That might be why the Druid ultimates feel a little underwhelming. Like if you were to just click it and just look at it once, I think the idea of the Druid ultimates are to kind of use them for a long time, really short cooldowns or really long durations. So I think this will combo into that very late game, but otherwise probably not going to be super impactful early. I think Pack Leader looks interesting. I guess this whole row is a little underwhelming early game, which again, if you have to, you know, start up here and go down, that would make sense that this is further down, right? You know, some extra spirit regen, you probably would just take this while you're leveling if you're not using pets and you're not worried about Fortify, you're not using ultimates. So Yeah, you probably take something like this. Finally, we have Snake. So if these are anything to go by, these should be the most interesting, I'm guessing. So let's see. Obsidian Slam. Every 10th kill will cause your next skill to overpower. Okay, now we're talking. This is really cool because the first thing I'm thinking of is with Landslide. This gives a way for Landslide to overpower, which is really, really cool. The other thing I'm thinking about is Pulverize. Everyone knows how Pulverize will overpower every 12 seconds. Imagine you walk into a pack of monsters, you click Pulverize with its guaranteed overpower, you kill 10 monsters, and then you can immediately do another overpower. So like, say for example, there's an elite, and then there's like, 10 monsters around the elite. You can walk up to the elite, click Pulverize, kill the monsters, and then click Pulverize again for 2 overpowers. Now, I know what you're saying, it's a werebear skill, not an earth skill, but there's actually an aspect to turn Pulverize into an earth skill. Pretty cool synergy there. It's also its best aspect by far. So I really like that. I think this will help out Pulverize a ton. I know a lot of people like the overpower Pulverize build, so this will be really important. You do have to get kills with it, so it'll be pretty important to like kind of position your character to make sure when you Pulverize, you're hitting an elite while also killing monsters. Pretty cool. I actually really like this. I like this one a lot. Overload. Dealing lightning damage has up to a 20% chance to cause the target to emit a static discharge, dealing 20% lightning damage to surrounding enemies. Okay. So the first thing you think of is Lightning Storm, and there's definitely a lot of effects and abilities that work with Lightning Storm where it wants you to just be constantly like doing tons of little lightning bolts and lightning AoEs, and this fits in. This is kind of similar to the overcharge aspect where it'll do like a AoE like kind of lightning. So I think the whole idea with the lightning stuff is just constantly be doing that. There is a aspect I believe for werewolf that makes it so you can do like lightning damage as well, like when you crit or something. So this would kind of tie into that too. Lightning in general seems like you want to do a ton of like small little hits, like a bunch of them, and you just stack them up with all the different like passives and aspects and abilities. So that seems kind of cool. If you're playing Lightning Storm, I could see this. I will say though, it is a lucky hit. 20% chance, and then Lightning Storm is a 15% chance to proc lucky hit. But you can be doing like 6 Lightning Storms. I wonder how big the AoE is. It probably isn't too big, but imagine if it's like, a Pulverized size AoE and you do some AoE overlaps. That could get pretty crazy depending on like the size of it. 20% damage is like okay, but this probably scales with like damage multipliers if I was to guess. I'd hope so. So pretty interesting. Critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal you for 3% life. Okay, so it seems like they tried to put at least one defensive in each column. I will say this seems okay. I think on the surface it seems all right. Probably meant for more werewolfy, I think, because werewolf wants to spam attacks, constantly. They kind of lean into the crit and stuff like that. So definitely see this fitting with werewolf. There is, I don't want to spoil too much about, the builds we have planned, but there is a unique item that gives you barrier based on how much you overheal. And I think this would work with that, where anytime you crit with a shapeshifting skill, if you're max health, you'll gain a little bit of barrier, right? I think this could potentially be really, really strong in some builds. Otherwise, it's probably pretty, like on bear, I don't know, right? I don't know how much you're critting on bear if you're just focusing on overpower. You do hit a lot of AoE though with bear. And I think, each crit you do on a monster would count. So yeah, I could see that working for sure. But this is pretty good defensive. Calm before the storm. Nature magic skills have up to a 15% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. So this is where like Lightning Storm and Tornado, where they do tons of like little multi-hits. 15% lucky hit chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. Now, Tornado got hit with a huge nerf to its lucky hit down to 8%. So it's going to be a lot harder to proc, but Tornado does multiple hits. This could be, I could see this working with like Cataclysm. Maybe you take extend the ultimate duration on Cataclysm plus the 2 seconds passive, and then there's like a 15% passive on Cataclysm, and then Cataclysm has a really high lucky hit chance. What if Cataclysm could like sustain itself? That would be really cool, right? Like you just click Cataclysm, and if there's enough monsters around, it just reduces its own cooldown to where you can just click it again and keep it up infinitely. That would be really cool. I think the other thing this is really good with is Grizzly Rage. You can extend the duration of Grizzly Rage through aspects and the skills, and then doing, proccing this. I'm trying to think. Oh, I guess it could work with Pulverize becomes an Earth skill, right? Because then it would be a nature magic skill. And then if you're hitting with Pulverize, you could reduce the cooldown, stay in Grizzly Rage, like infinitely probably. Same thing, there's like a Grizzly, well, I guess it's not Grizzly. Grizzly Rage can turn you into a werewolf instead. So you could do stuff with like shred spamming and the storm skills. There's some pretty cool stuff that you could work with this. Pulverize, or not, I'm sorry, Petrify. Could get some value with this. Landslide does, it's got an okay chance to hit. But yeah. All right. I think these are pretty solid overall. I will say it's probably a little underwhelming for most people. They were probably looking for something, a little more interesting than that. But if I had to guess, out of these, I would definitely take, for Deer, I would definitely take 10% reduced damage from elites. Eagle, I think 5% crit chance or 10% attack speed would be good for leveling. Late game, it's going to be quite different, but for leveling, 5% crit chance. I like attack speed. It makes my build feel better usually. Wolf, I guess it was a little tricky for leveling. Probably pack leader. I think most druid builds are going to have pets while you're playing, like while you're leveling. Maybe you go for the ultimate duration increase. And then snake, it seems like it's going to depend on what your build is. This will be good for landslide, this is good for lightning storm, things like that. There's not really anything, if you could choose any ones to go for, that's a tough one. Definitely if your landslide, Obsidian Slam looks really good. Other than that, you might just like take, get some of the attack speed or crit chance first. I like the attack speed personally, but a lot of these feel like they're not going to be super helpful while leveling. Some of them will be, but most of them, it seems like much more end game kind of focused and then, specific to your build. But overall, I think they're pretty solid for what they are. I do wish the Druid class mechanic was a little more in depth. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else they could do, but maybe they'll expand on it. This was one of the last ones I think that was announced as well. So they might have been working on it last, not as much time to update it. So fingers crossed, maybe they'll add a little more to it. Maybe they'll add, another row or something. Who knows? But yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure you comment, leave them down below. I'd love to answer them. I'm really getting into Druid, trying to put out a lot of Druid content. I know there's not too many Druid players out there, so I really want to be able to put out some of the stuff. I definitely want to make some build videos, a leveling guide and all that thing. So keep an eye out, stay tuned. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.